What if every moment of happiness you've ever experienced was part of a grand illusion? What if the joy you seek, scrolling endlessly, chasing likes, indulging in quick fixes, isn't freeing you, but silently binding you? We live in a world that promises instant gratification at every turn. But what if I told you that the very pursuit of pleasure is the root of our enslavement? Today, we'll dive into a hidden truth: how the relentless chase for comfort and ease is stealing your freedom, one dopamine hit at a time, and how you can break free. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll have the tools to reclaim your life in ways you never thought possible. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the world we live in today. A world where every second of silence, every pause, is filled with the soft glow of a screen. You don't even think about it anymore. Your hand reaches for your phone instinctively. You unlock it without a plan, and suddenly you're scrolling, video after video, post after post. The hours slip by unnoticed, and when you finally stop, there's this strange emptiness that lingers, like a void that refuses to be filled. We've been pulled into a game we never agreed to play. A game where the rules are simple: stay engaged. And so, notifications buzz, autoplay ensures we never have to choose the next thing to watch, and the infinite scroll keeps us going. Like hamsters running on a wheel, it's seamless, effortless, and endlessly consuming. And here's the catch: it feels good. At least, at first. There's a reason you feel a small thrill when you get a new like on your post, or when the next video starts playing, just as your curiosity peaks. This world is built to keep you chasing that thrill, but it's a fleeting one. The happiness it brings doesn't linger. It's here for a moment and gone the next, leaving you craving more. But the brilliance of this system lies in how subtle it is. It doesn't demand your attention, it seduces it. It whispers to you in moments of boredom, nudging you toward quick comfort. You don't realize what's happening because it feels harmless. Yet, every second spent scrolling, every ad you glance at, every click you make, feeds a system designed to profit from your time, your focus, and your attention. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about control. Control so gentle, so invisible, that you never even question it. And that's what makes it so powerful. This constant stream of pleasure promises to make your life better. But is it really? Or is it just taking something from you, a piece of your day, your energy, your potential, without giving anything meaningful in return? Think about the last time you looked at the clock and realized hours had vanished into the void of scrolling. What were you left with? Fulfillment? Joy? Or was it just the nagging sense that you could have done more, that something important had slipped through your fingers? This is the world of instant gratification, and its allure is undeniable. It's easy, it's comforting, and it's addictive. But beneath the surface, it's not just stealing your time. It's shaping the way you live, the way you think, and the way you value yourself. And so, the question is this: what does it cost to live in a world that thrives on your distraction? And more importantly, is there a way out? Let's take a step back and look at what's really happening inside your mind when you reach for your phone, click that next video, or refresh your feed. It's not just a habit. It's a carefully orchestrated dance between your brain and the world of technology. Every tap, every scroll, every flick of your finger triggers a series of events in your brain, as if it's being rewarded for something significant. At the heart of this is dopamine, a neurotransmitter often called the feel-good chemical. But dopamine isn't just about feeling good, it's about anticipation. It's released not when you achieve satisfaction, but when you expect it. Imagine the moment just before you open a notification or click on a video you've been curious about. That small thrill you feel. That's dopamine working its magic, pulling you toward the promise of reward. And here's the clever part: the promise is almost never fully delivered. Sure, the content might entertain you for a moment, but the high fades quickly, leaving you wanting more. It's like a slot machine in your pocket, where the next spin could bring you joy, or nothing at all. And just like a gambler hooked on the idea of a win, you keep playing. Technology takes full advantage of this biological wiring. Infinite scrolls and autoplay features aren't just conveniences. They're traps, designed to keep you engaged for as long as possible. Every app you use, every website you visit, is engineered to be addictive. The content is endless because your attention is priceless. But it's not just the technology that's to blame. It's our biology too. Your brain craves novelty. It's wired to seek out new experiences and avoid boredom. So when a feed refreshes with new content, your brain lights up. When an algorithm recommends something tailored perfectly to your tastes, it feels personal, almost like the system knows you better than you know yourself. And maybe, in some ways, it does. This cycle of anticipation and reward creates a loop that's hard to break. The more you engage, the more you teach your brain to expect these small hits of dopamine. Over time, it becomes automatic, a reflex rather than a choice. You pick up your phone without thinking, you scroll without intention, and the hours slip away. But there's a darker side to this cycle. As you chase these fleeting rewards, something happens to your brain. It adapts. The more dopamine you release, the less sensitive your brain becomes to it. This is why what used to bring you joy, a simple notification or a funny video, doesn't hit the same way anymore. You need more to feel the same satisfaction. This is called tolerance, and it's the hallmark of addiction. Think about how often you find yourself reaching for your phone, not because you need it, but because you can't help it. You're not just consuming content, you're being consumed by it. And while these moments might feel small, they add up. They chip away at your time, your focus, and your sense of control. But this isn't the end of the story. Understanding this science isn't just about identifying the problem, it's about taking back control. Because once you see how this cycle works, you can begin to break it. And as we continue this journey, we'll explore how to reclaim your time, your energy, and your freedom from a system that thrives on keeping you hooked. Imagine running on a treadmill, pushing forward with everything you've got. But no matter how fast you go, no matter how hard you try, the scenery never changes. That's exactly what's happening to us in the pursuit of happiness. We're chasing something we can never quite catch. This is the essence of the hedonic treadmill. The term describes how we adapt to pleasure. No matter how much happiness we achieve, whether it's a new car, a bigger house, or the latest gadget, it never lasts. That initial thrill fades, and soon we're back to where we started, searching for the next thing to fill the void. It's a cycle that feels endless, because it is. Think about the last time you treated yourself to something you thought would make you happy. Maybe it was a shiny new phone or a luxurious vacation. At first, it felt amazing, exciting, fulfilling, like you had finally made it. But how long did that feeling last? Days? Weeks? And then what? The phone became just another device. The vacation, a distant memory. What felt so important in the moment eventually faded into the background, leaving you hungry for more. This is how the hedonic treadmill works. It promises satisfaction, but it's fleeting by design. Each time we reach for something new, we think, this is it. This will make me happy. And each time, we're left disappointed. But we rarely stop to question the cycle itself. Instead, we double down, running harder, faster, and chasing even more. This isn't just a personal issue, it's a societal one. Modern life is built around consumption. Ads constantly tell us we're one purchase away from happiness. Social media bombards us with images of people who seem to have it all, making us feel like we need to catch up. And in this race, we lose sight of what truly matters. But the real cost of this endless chase isn't just financial, it's mental and emotional. Studies have shown that the more we focus on material rewards, the more likely we are to experience anxiety, depression, and dissatisfaction. We sacrifice our peace of mind for fleeting pleasures, only to find ourselves emptier than before. And then there's time, the most precious resource of all. The hours we spend chasing happiness through possessions or distractions are hours we'll never get back. We tell ourselves it's worth it, that it's all for the sake of happiness. But deep down, we know the truth. This kind of happiness doesn't last. So why do we keep running? Because the system is designed to keep us moving. Advertisers, influencers, and industries profit from our discontent. They don't just sell products. They sell the idea that we're incomplete without them, and we believe it time and time again. But here's the thing. We don't have to stay on the treadmill. We don't have to let our lives be defined by an endless cycle of craving and disappointment. The first step is recognizing the pattern. The second is choosing to step off, even if it means confronting discomfort. What would happen if you stopped chasing fleeting pleasures and started focusing on lasting fulfillment? What if you shifted your energy from acquiring things to building connections, pursuing passions, and finding meaning? These aren't easy questions, but they're the ones that matter most. Because the truth is, the hedonic treadmill only traps us if we let it. And stepping off might be the most liberating choice you ever make. Imagine a society where people are always content, their desires perfectly satisfied, their lives free from conflict or discomfort. At first glance, it sounds like a utopia. But Aldous Huxley, in his dystopian masterpiece Brave New World, warned us otherwise. In his vision, this so-called utopia was built not on freedom, but on control. A control so subtle, so intoxicating, that no one even noticed it. In Huxley's world, people didn't need to be chained or oppressed. Instead, they were pacified with a drug called soma, a tool to numb discomfort and provide instant happiness. With no pain to confront and no challenges to overcome, the citizens lost their autonomy, their individuality, and ultimately their humanity. They were slaves to pleasure, but they loved their servitude. Now look at our world. While we may not have soma, we have something just as potent, the endless distractions of modern life. Social media, streaming platforms, and the constant ping of notifications act as our modern-day soma, numbing us to the discomforts of reality. They promise happiness at the tap of a screen, but at what cost? Huxley wasn't the only one to see the danger in pleasure's seductive grip. Philosophers throughout history have warned of its traps. Aristotle distinguished between hedonia, the pursuit of fleeting pleasure, and eudaimonia, the pursuit of a flourishing, meaningful life. He argued that true fulfillment comes not from indulging in comfort, but from living in alignment with virtue, wisdom, and purpose. Even Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and the author of Man's Search for Meaning, observed this in the most extreme circumstances. Frankl found that those who endured unimaginable suffering were often those who discovered a deeper sense of purpose. He wrote that the pursuit of meaning, not pleasure, was the key to enduring and overcoming life's challenges. Yet our modern culture pushes us toward the opposite. It glorifies ease, convenience, and indulgence while dismissing struggle, discipline, and sacrifice as unnecessary burdens. Advertisers and influencers sell us the idea that happiness can be bought, whether through a new gadget, a luxurious experience, or the next big trend. And we believe them, thinking that with just one more purchase, one more moment of distraction, we'll finally be satisfied. But history and philosophy tell a different story. They remind us that pleasure, when pursued recklessly, is not liberating, it's enslaving. When we prioritize comfort above all else, we lose the very things that make life meaningful, our relationships, our creativity, and our ability to grow through struggle. This isn't to say that pleasure is inherently bad. In fact, Aristotle himself acknowledged that pleasure has its place. But it's a question of balance, of making pleasure serve us, rather than allowing it to rule us. And that balance comes from intention, from asking ourselves not just what feels good, but what is truly good. So, what can we learn from Huxley's chilling vision or Frankl's profound insights? Perhaps the most important lesson is this: a life devoted solely to pleasure is a shallow one. True fulfillment requires something deeper, a commitment to growth, purpose, and the willingness to face discomfort. As we continue this journey, we'll explore how to apply these timeless lessons to our modern lives, because while the distractions of today may feel overwhelming, the wisdom of the past offers us a way forward. The question is, are we ready to take it? Imagine waking up in the morning. Before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. You check notifications, swipe through messages, and scroll through endless content. It's become so normal, so automatic, that you barely think about it. But this seemingly harmless habit is anything but accidental. It's the result of systems specifically designed to keep you hooked, exploiting the very way your brain works. At the center of this manipulation is dopamine, the chemical messenger in your brain that creates feelings of reward and satisfaction. But here's the catch: dopamine isn't just released when you experience something pleasurable. It's released when you anticipate pleasure. This is why you feel a little rush of excitement when you see a notification or when you're waiting for a response to a message. The reward lies not in what you receive, but in the possibility of what's coming. Technology companies understand this better than anyone. They've spent years studying human behavior, learning how to tap into these natural reward systems. Every app, every feature, every notification is designed to exploit your brain's craving for that next dopamine hit. The goal isn't just to keep you engaged, it's to keep you dependent. One of the most powerful tools they use is something called intermittent reinforcement. It's a concept borrowed from behavioral psychology and perfected by industries like gambling. Think about slot machines. The excitement isn't in knowing you'll win, it's in the unpredictability of when you might win. This same principle is applied to your favorite apps. Scrolling through social media, for example, is like pulling the lever on a slot machine. Sometimes you find something exciting, a funny video, a heartfelt post, a message from a friend, and sometimes you don't. But the unpredictability is what keeps you coming back. Even the design of apps plays a role. Infinite scroll removes the natural stopping points that would otherwise let you pause and reflect. Autoplay keeps you watching, feeding you one video after another without a break. Notifications interrupt your day, creating a sense of urgency that demands your immediate attention. These aren't just features, they're deliberate strategies to hold your focus as long as possible. But it doesn't stop there. Algorithms learn your preferences, tailoring content specifically for you. They know what you like, what you comment on, and what keeps you engaged. Over time, these systems become so good at predicting your behavior that they can feed you exactly what you need to stay hooked. The result? A personalized loop of content that feels impossible to escape. The problem isn't just that these systems take your time, it's what they take from you. They rob you of your ability to focus, to reflect, to simply be. They turn moments of boredom or stillness, moments that could be opportunities for growth or creativity, into distractions. And as you get caught in this cycle, it becomes harder and harder to break free. The most insidious part is that this addiction doesn't feel like addiction. It feels like choice. You think you're in control when you decide to open an app or check your phone. But in reality, these systems have been designed to nudge you in that direction. Your biology is being used against you, and you may not even realize it. But here's the truth. Understanding how this works is the first step to taking back control. Once you see the mechanics behind the curtain, you can start to question the habits and systems that have taken hold of your life. Because while technology might be designed to exploit your brain, it doesn't have to define you. So the question is, how do we reclaim our minds in a world that profits from keeping us distracted? That's the challenge we'll confront next. Close your eyes and imagine a life where every decision you make feels deliberate. A life where your choices aren't dictated by distractions, impulses, or algorithms, but by something deeper, your values, your purpose. Now ask yourself, Does that sound like the life you're living right now? Or does it feel like something out of reach, buried under the noise of endless notifications and fleeting pleasures? In a world dominated by convenience and instant gratification, the idea of freedom has been quietly redefined. We're told freedom means doing whatever we want, whenever we want. But is it really freedom when those wants are shaped by external forces? When we spend our days reacting to what's placed in front of us, are we truly free? Or are we simply following a script we didn't write? True freedom isn't about indulgence. It's about intention. It's the ability to step back, reflect, and choose what matters most. But this kind of freedom requires something we've been conditioned to avoid: discomfort. And that's where the trap lies. Pleasure is easy. It feels good. It's effortless, and it doesn't ask much of us. Purpose, on the other hand, demands effort, discipline, and sacrifice. But it's only by choosing purpose over pleasure that we can reclaim our autonomy. Philosophers have understood this for centuries. Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This idea is profound because it shifts the focus from what feels good in the moment to what gives life meaning in the long run. When you anchor your choices to a why, the fleeting allure of distractions begins to lose its power. But finding that why isn't always easy. In a world that constantly pulls us in different directions, it can feel overwhelming to figure out what truly matters. This is why so many of us default to the path of least resistance. We let the algorithms decide what we watch, the advertisements tell us what we need, and the culture dictate what success looks like. It's easier that way, but it's also emptier. True freedom begins with self-awareness. It's about recognizing the subtle ways in which our attention, our energy, and our choices are being manipulated. It's about questioning the habits and systems that have become so ingrained in our lives. Why do you reach for your phone the moment you feel bored? Why do you scroll endlessly even when you know it's not fulfilling? These aren't just behaviors, they're clues pointing to where your freedom has been quietly taken. Once you start asking these questions, something shifts. You begin to see the difference between what you truly want and what you've been conditioned to want. You realize that freedom isn't about rejecting pleasure. It's about putting it in its rightful place. It's about choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term gratification, even when it's uncomfortable. This isn't an easy path. It requires discipline, reflection, and the willingness to step away from what's familiar. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you live with intention, every choice becomes an act of freedom. You're no longer a passive participant in your own life, you're its creator. So ask yourself, what does freedom mean to you? Is it the ability to indulge in every distraction, or is it the power to choose a life that aligns with your deepest values? Because the truth is, you can't have both. Freedom isn't about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's right. And the beauty of this journey is that the choice is entirely yours. As we move forward, we'll explore how to take actionable steps toward reclaiming that freedom. Because while the distractions of the world may be powerful, your capacity to rise above them is even greater. It's one thing to understand how we've become trapped in a cycle of distractions and fleeting pleasures. It's another to break free from it. True freedom isn't just about recognizing the problem. It's about taking deliberate steps to reclaim your time, your attention, and your life. And while this journey may seem daunting, it begins with small, intentional changes. Start by looking at your day. How much of your time is spent reacting, checking notifications, scrolling through feeds, or consuming content you didn't plan to? These moments may feel insignificant, but they add up. Hours, even days, can slip through your fingers without you realizing it. The first step toward freedom is awareness. You can't change what you don't see. So take a moment to reflect. Where is your time going? What are you giving your energy to, and what are you getting in return? Once you've identified the patterns, it's time to disrupt them. Start small. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Not all, just the ones that constantly pull you out of the present. Create boundaries with your devices. Set specific times for checking emails or scrolling social media, rather than letting them dictate your day. These small actions may feel insignificant, but they're powerful acts of rebellion in a world designed to keep you distracted. But it's not just about reducing distractions, it's about replacing them with something meaningful. Imagine what you could do with the time you reclaim. Maybe it's pursuing a passion you've been putting off, like writing, painting, or learning a new skill. Maybe it's deepening your relationships, having a real conversation with a loved one instead of half listening while staring at your phone. Or maybe it's as simple as sitting in silence, giving yourself the space to think, reflect, and just be. One of the most effective ways to reclaim your focus is to practice intentionality. This means deciding in advance how you want to spend your time and energy, rather than letting the day happen to you. Start each morning with a clear intention. Ask yourself, what matters most today? What one thing, if accomplished, would bring you closer to the life you want to live? Then, structure your day around that priority. When you approach your time with purpose, distractions lose their power. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. When was the last time you truly paid attention to the present moment? Not multitasking, not planning the next thing, but simply being here, now. Mindfulness is about cultivating that presence. It's about noticing when you're pulled into autopilot and gently bringing yourself back. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking a few deep breaths, mindfulness helps you build the mental resilience to resist the pull of distractions. And don't underestimate the importance of discomfort. Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. If you want to break free from the cycle of instant gratification, you need to be willing to embrace a little discomfort. This might mean stepping away from your devices, even when it feels awkward. It might mean spending time alone with your thoughts, without the crutch of distractions. It might mean choosing effort, whether it's exercising, learning, or creating, over ease. But discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the pathway to freedom. As you begin this journey, remember that it's not about perfection. You will slip up. You will have days when distractions win, and that's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate every distraction. It's to build a life where distractions no longer control you. Each small step you take is a victory. Each moment you reclaim is a step closer to living with intention and purpose. The path to reclaiming your focus and freedom is not an easy one, but it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, your time, your energy, and your life are yours, and they deserve to be lived fully, not lost to the endless scroll. So here we are, at the edge of a decision. You now understand the forces working to keep you distracted, the cost of living on autopilot, and the power you have to reclaim your focus and freedom. But the real question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? This journey isn't just about changing how you live today, it's about transforming the way you see your entire life. Because freedom isn't just a momentary escape from distractions, it's a lifelong commitment to choosing what truly matters. But what if I told you that everything we've discussed so far is just the beginning? That there's an even deeper truth waiting to be uncovered, one that could completely change the way you think about happiness, fulfillment, and the life you're building. The next step on this journey will challenge everything you thought you knew about purpose, motivation, and the hidden systems shaping your decisions. And it's coming soon. If you found value in this video, take a moment to hit the like button. It helps us reach more people who need this message. Share it with someone you know who might also feel trapped in the cycle of distraction. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter of this journey. Are you ready to take the leap, to uncover the next layer of understanding? Stay tuned, because the next video could be the one that shifts everything.